and take orders and shoot video. And our capacity to shoot really great video for Vook comes from this huge network of filmmakers. And the basic concept that we have for Vook is that filmmakers and authors are going to come together, particularly with Apple tools now, and create a new media that we can't even imagine. We feel like at Vook we've just scratched the surface. But I always like to tell the story of how we named Turn Here. I was meeting with an ad agency to name the company. It was a list of things. It was a meeting about branding Turn Here, and I was in San Francisco, and I got lost, and this was pre-GPS, and I pulled over, and this immigrant worker who spoke kind of broken English, I said, "Where is Deharo?" And he says, "Turn here." And so I went to the ad agency and I said, "Well, I'm going to save $10,000. I'm not going to pay you to name Turn Here," and that's how Turn Here happened. Vook, I don't really remember, although in working, and just to explain again, Turn Here still exists. It does a lot of work. I still own that company. It's a fantastic network of filmmakers. But one day when I was coming out here to talk to publishers about this idea of creating cool video profiles of authors, it hit me, someone's going to add video to books in text, in ebooks. It just seemed like something that should happen. And by the way, it's happened before. It's not my invention to necessarily combine these two. But the idea here was that someone's going to light up, as we call the gray matter, in a new and interesting way. And we also believe that this merging of text and video and other multimedia, transmedia, I love that term. We've been calling it mixed media, but I think transmedia is the one I'm going to start using. The reason it's going to happen is Apple's going to give tools to creators like they've historically done. Apple gave tools years ago for some of those my generation to graphic designers, and it changed the world of graphic design. They gave tools to musicians, GarageBand, they gave tools to filmmakers and things like Final Cut Pro. And once these tools are happening and new displays and new devices can render this, we're going to see new things. And I don't think they're ebooks. I don't think they're enhanced ebooks. There's something entirely different. And again, we feel like we've just scratched the surface, but we've had a ton of fun trying to figure that out. So let me, I don't know if you've seen Vook, but we have all kinds of experiments going on because we actually believe there is no set way to do this. I was recently in a meeting with a publisher who said, there is a way to do it, and I said, which book on this shelf can I read that shows us how to do it? Because we don't really feel like we know, and that's the fun of the creative process. But we've done, in fact, the gentleman with Shakespeare, we did the 12 of Shakespeare's sonnets, and that was inspired in part because I've had this favorite sonnet, 29, that I always loved, and we gave these 12 sonnets to a filmmaker here in New York, and he did a very contemporary reading of these sonnets in the subway and parks, and did all kinds of crazy things. If you haven't seen it, I'm happy to give it to you, but most of these things are like 99 cents or $1.99, so you can go buy one. But with the sonnets, 29 is a sonnet about, Shakespeare wrote this thing about the person who wakes up in misery and envious and jealous of everyone that has things that he or she or whoever it was in this sonnet doesn't have, and then suddenly this kind of inspiration that God or something give it up to somebody higher, and everything turned out okay in this little sonnet. So the filmmaker took a woman who, classic modern sort of thing, depressed in her bed, woke up depressed and looking in the mirror and not liking herself, and in her robe and trying to get ready to go, and it was kind of the contemporary version of depression next to what Shakespeare wrote in the sonnet, and discovered, well, opens up the freezer, finds ice cream, the ice cream is glowing in this really creative way, takes the ice cream, goes to bed, and is very happy. So while she is reciting the sonnet, so we're very true to the words of Shakespeare, but trying to give an interpretation. So one of the areas we're really, really interested in is education, because we think that's what this mixed media is really about. And if you look at Apple's tradition, and I don't want to over-talk Apple, but this is for us a game changer. What Apple has done historically in education is what we think really makes a difference. So let me open up some